How's it going, guys? I know I haven't posted a video in a while, but yeah, the engine is back out on the car. I didn't want to tune it. It wasn't really running right, so I completely pulled the engine out of the car. I'm removing the intake manifold right now. I'm gonna use a different head. This one, when the motor ran low on oil, it actually scars some of the cam caps for the camshafts. So I'm gonna be using another head. I mean, LS heads are super cheap. I already got a hold of another complete LS long block for 150 bucks. So I'm gonna be swapping my dual springs and retainers to that other head, replace the valve seals. I might sell my skunk to intake manifold and go for the Elderbrock, or I might just continue to use this one. I mean, it works fine. This head basically made 500 horsepower, no problem. All you really need to do on an LS to make 500 horsepower to the head, just the dual springs and retainers, your intake manifold, that's if a 66 millimeter throttle body, and your Crowder cams. I mean, that's really all you need. The head, the cams actually open up the head. I don't have a port and polish or nothing on the head. It's basically stock ports. And just dual springs and retainers, the Crowder stage 3 or stage 4 cams, and you're gonna have a nice flowing head. I sold the block, the sleeve block, the 83 millimeter sleeve block that I had. I completely sold it. And I'm gonna be going back to a stock sleeve block with the cylinder support system installed. Jeff, the guy that actually installs the support system, has my block, and it should be coming in about a week. So yeah, I'm gonna be reusing the crank because this was a brand new crank, and the crank's actually in pretty good shape. This is the one that I replaced after I spun the bearing because of the lack of oil. Yeah, I got all the other parts down here. The oil pan. I bought a tool in order for me to allow me to change the springs and the retainers quick. This tool right here, it's for the LS heads, B20s. It's by Euro Export. It was $88. Comes with everything you need, and it even came with some new valve seals. So I'm gonna be swapping everything over to a new head. You know, even though I don't post videos, I'm working on this car. We're gonna see 600 out of this thing. So that's the plan, 600 horsepower, and I'm done. I don't really think it's worth it to go B-Tech unless you're making over 600. And after 600, honestly, you're gonna be breaking transmissions. So I'm just gonna keep it simple, straight LS. I'm gonna run another Super Tech head gasket, because those head gaskets, you know, they're good quality head gaskets. And I was gonna use the eBay Turbo, which is a 64 millimeter, but while browsing eBay, like I always do, came across a brand new GTW 6265. So I got a really good deal on this turbo. So this is the one that I'm gonna be running. It's basically like the same thing, same exact thing that I was running, the one I made 500 on, except this one is a 62 millimeter. The other one was a the other one was 58 millimeter. This one is a 62. Journal bearing, same thing. Brand new. I picked it up for $600. So I had to just jump on it because this turbo is like easily over like 1,000. So the eBay turbo, I'm still gonna keep it and eventually run it on another setup. But for now, I think this one will spool quicker. This one has a billet wheel and it's a 62 millimeter. The eBay one is a 64 millimeter. So yeah, the other one might make more power, but it's gonna be laggier. And for the LS, I need something that's gonna spool quicker. I sold the Eagle rods that came out of the other block. I sold 3 of them. I sold 3 of them on eBay for cheap. I didn't want to sell this one because this one has some heat on it, and I didn't want to sell it to somebody. And I mean, with the lack of oil was to the point of getting this one spun. So I'm just keeping this one. The 83 millimeter pistons that I had, I traded those to a friend for some K1 rods. They're down here. I don't know if I'm going to use the K1 rods or go with some scats. I had some scat rods when I was making 408, and those, you know, I kind of like the quality of the scats. These ones are a little bit smaller. You know, they are smaller, so I don't know. Their K1 rods are smaller from the front, but they're fatter than Eagles from the sides. Let me show you guys. These ones are rated at 175 horsepower per rod, so this one should make 700 horsepower, or hold 700 horsepower, and the Eagle rods are only rated at 6. See? Well, you guys can see the difference. The Eagle rod is fatter. This one is smaller. But if you turn them around, the K1 rod is actually thicker from the side. See how skinny and small the Eagle rod is? See how fat the K1 rod is? I mean, both rods will handle pretty much 600 horsepower, no problem. If I don't sell these ones, I'm gonna run the K1 rods. So I got a set of those. The new block is gonna be 82 millimeter. And it's gonna be 82 millimeter stock sleeves with the cylinder support system. And I'm gonna be running some Arias pistons. I got a good deal on those, so I'm gonna be running that. And this time around, I'm gonna build everything myself, bottom up. Seems like that's the only way for me not to run any problems. You know, I guess I just had bad luck this last time I was running this block, this sleeve block. You know, since I had purchased it already built, I didn't mess with opening it or checking any clearances or anything. The way that it came, I make sure that everything, it was brand new. And it was professionally built. So I just slap it on, put my head on it. You know, they did the break-in procedure. Put some miles on the motor, got it tuned, survived the tune, made 504. First pull on the street, boom, everything went bananas. So, yeah, and I'm glad I took it apart, because after I replaced the crankshaft, replaced the bearings the second time, when I completely pulled the engine apart this time, there was still some metal shavings from the bearings that were scratching the current bearings on it. So on this new setup, everything is going to be clean, brand new, and hopefully we're not running into any problems. Because, you know, it's a lot of money basically when you tear something down like that